Hello ladies and gentlemen, Yessik here again to bring you a review of Swords and Sorcery's EP, a game that recently came out on Steam, and that has gotten a lot of hype. A lot of people have really enjoyed it, and has won awards for Best Indie Game Release on iOS. It's been out on iOS for quite a while, but has recently had its Steam release, and is a game produced by Super Brothers and Capybara Games. Now, this came out on April 16th for Steam, and March 24th for the iPad, April 27th for the iPhone. So, still not quite out for the iPhone yet. Oh, April 27th, 2011 for the iPhone. Excuse me. So, the music in this game was written by Jim Guthrie, which I wouldn't normally mention in a game review, even though I should. Mostly because I don't find the music that important unless the music is very good. But since this game decided to call itself Swords and Sorcery EP, it clearly wants to emphasize its music. The game also comes with a full copy of its own soundtrack, which I think is a very, very good thing for the game to do. I do realize a lot of games sell their soundtracks separately on Steam, but including the soundtrack really drives home the focus they wanted this game to have on the sound and the sound design. And I have to agree they've done a fairly good job with the sound design. When there's action going on, the sound makes you feel like there's action going on. When you're in a fight, it makes you feel like you're fighting. When there's something epic or something chasing you, there's like heart-pounding music. You want to get away, you're excited about it. And that is exactly what the music should be, exactly what the music should do. On another very positive note, I love the game's puzzling. And not specifically the puzzling like you just saw there, where I had to drag two things into a hole, or the puzzling that comes up next, where I can't figure out that I have to click on one color of sheep than the other color of sheep. But during combat, and combat isn't that common in this, but during combat, every single enemy has its own sort of attack pattern, and a very sort of puzzly way to get by the pattern. And you'll see that a bit later on, and I'll describe it to you when it shows. Now, here's another interesting feature. This is a book that I picked up near the beginning, and it allows me to read minds as social networking. So, as you can see, the girl said ... a little while ago, so I figure the plus sign must mean they have something important to say. So this is me, and I'm absorbing linguistic thought transmissions through this book. And here's our guide telling us the exact same thing. So, I like this system. I like how it sort of allows you to solve the puzzles and know where to go next according to what people are thinking and what thoughts they've transmitted into your book. What I do not like is how it kind of reminds me of social networking and how it's inconvenient as all bloody hell. And I know that the point of social networking is to not be inconvenient, but I find that it does a very, very bad job of not being inconvenient. Anyways, the main story of this is that we follow our very, very apathetic main character in a quest for the Triforce reference. And yes, it's three triangles lined up in the Triforce pattern. It is very clearly a Triforce reference. So I'm not going to blame it for ripping off Zelda, because that'd be absolutely ludicrous. No. Anyways, so I forget exactly where I am in the review. Okay. Here we go. So apparently he's lost a key, and here we come into another little interesting bit of the game. I'm not sure if it's done reoccurringly, because I'm only about halfway through currently, a bit more. But here I sit down and I share this man's dream so that I can try to retrieve the key for him that he dropped while he was dreaming. And one thing I want to tell you about this game is that I said the main character was apathetic a while ago. That is a theme in this game. It's a key word. This game is very, very, and I hate to use the word to describe this, hipster. The music reminds me of what hipsters would listen to. The game reminds me of something that hipsters would play on their iPads or on their Macs in a cafe while pretending to write a book or do their homework. The whole feel of the game reeks of apathy, and like your character doesn't, just the way they move doesn't make them seem like they care about what they're doing. And it's not a major complaint. The game's still playable. This game is still fairly good, but it's not my type of culture, and probably not the type of game I would buy unless I was, of course, reviewing it. Now, that isn't to say the game isn't for everyone. The game is for A, hipsters, B, people who enjoy this type of music and sort of lateral thinking puzzlers, and C for, did I say A and B? Oh well, I'll go C anyways. C, just for people who see this video and are like, hey, this game looks pretty awesome. So, for some of the more intense gamers, I would recommend giving it a pass, but for anything from the casual gamer to somebody who enjoys sort of artsy type of design and anyone who enjoys adventure games in this style, then it's fine. Now, the other thing is, this is very, very clearly an iOS port, because a couple times it tells you to swipe and do other things which are iOS exclusive. They're things that you wouldn't expect to be told to do otherwise. And what I just picked up there is a mushroom, which is another interesting little feature of this game. I shouldn't have used it here, but what the mushroom does, and I only figured this out after recording this video, is it reveals what you should be clicking in areas. So what I did there was completely waste the mushroom. So if I were to take it in an area with a puzzle, then it would reveal what the puzzle elements are. And I thought that was a nice little feature, and there's a little achievement for using mushrooms, and I'm just going to skip a bunch of the game now and head up here and show you a bit of the combat. Now, I've retrieved the key. Now I'm going up to the path to find some more Sylvan Spirits, and as you can tell, it gives me a bit of a chance before I have to fight. It doesn't just throw me right into the combat. And here's what I mean by the combat being its own puzzler, and listen to this music. I love the more exciting music in this. Anyways, the combat being a bit of a puzzler, you'd think that you just hit the attack button over and over again to do damage to this wolf. But that doesn't seem to work, and it doesn't seem to do anything correctly. So what you have to do is you have to wait for the wolf to charge you, and then actually attack with the sword and not block. And as you can see, that took away 1 star of its health damage. And of course the wolf is a bit of a coward, so it doesn't die, it just kind of runs away. And I find that the strategy, the parry system, is different for every enemy, and almost a puzzle in itself. And I really, really appreciate that. I really appreciate how that's been done, and I think that quite often these days, combat is way too straightforward. You know, you just smash at a button until the other thing is dead. You might have to work on kiting, but it's not real strategy. So, here you get to see me be very stupid while solving a puzzle. And, yeah, I'm pretty stupid here, but we'll try to ignore that and find more to talk about. So, there are several things to recommend this game to you. Personally, it isn't the type of game I would play. It isn't the type of game I enjoy too much. It is a bit too, air quotes, hipster. I'm not a fan of that type of attitude, that type of style, that type of apathetic, just walking around. I don't like having a really good chase scene with good music and then having to follow it up by 4 maps of walking across the screen really slowly. It's just not really my type of game. I can see how if you're just sort of on your way or sitting around or on a train, it's a good game to pick up and play through a bit of. It's nice and artsy, it's a puzzler, it's an adventure game. It's point and click, it's tons of things that are reminiscent of the past that you'll appreciate if you're an old school gamer, but a bit too laid back for my taste, and I'm assuming the taste of several other people who will be watching this video. The music is another big bonus. I like how the music comes with the game, that it's on the disc, or not on the disc, sorry, with the download in the file. And it's a big bonus to me that you can sort of throw that onto your iTunes and listen to some of your favorite tracks from the game. Whereas most games you either have to buy the track separately or somehow manage to get the music otherwise. And sometimes the tracks aren't even sold separately, so it's just a bit of a hard time. So the solution to this puzzle was actually fairly easy. It was just click on all the thick trees and send this Sylvan Spirit up. Anyway, so it's a decent purchase. One more warning before I head out. This game is insanely short. After I completed this stage, I got to about 40% completion. That to me isn't quite right. For a $6 game, you should get a bit more content and a bit more play value than that. Anyways, if this is your type of thing, pick it up. Yessik out.